RSL Nation.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Welcome.
buddy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the RSL Bros with Alan, Marcos, and Christian.
What
All
to do, what to do,
bros.
what to do. We are
Uh,
related.
I think we've said that a couple of times on the show. Yeah, we
But
are
in case
family.
there's any confusion, Alan and Marcos are brothers and I'm the cousin. But we're
Yeah,
bros.
but we're all bros.
We are
Um,
bros.
brothers from other mothers. But yes. Guys, we're back again at this another week. I like to say we're probably one of the most consistent in doing this. So, congratulations to us. So, we're gonna keep this show going. Yes, a round of applause for us. We like to do this. We not only bring it for you guys, but we also like to talk soccer.
It's
Um,
therapeutic.
it is.
Even
I
though there was
mean,
no RSL last week, which was very much of a bummer, we had other games that we were able to watch, and that we'll talk about in a second.
there's always soccer year round, especially when you're in the United States. If Europe is on break, there's soccer here.
Yep,
If
international window.
sure. If MLS is on a break, then Europe is still
Yep.
going.
Yep.
So, um, today, even though we don't have an RSL game to talk about, we're still going to talk soccer. But
hmm
we're gonna do a little league roundup. Only because there were games this weekend, even though it was the international window. Games that affected us, positive, negative. We'll let you guys know. Um, we're gonna get
Actually,
into.
past couple of weekends, really, if you
Oh
think
yeah,
about it.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We've been helped out a lot this week, lately, and
Yay.
so we need to step it up a little bit. We're also gonna get into a little bit of what happened internationally. That's gonna be actually there was some big news from U.S. Soccer. Um, we're gonna do another round of questions that all of you sent into us. We really like that segment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it. I don't know.
It's it's questions that we were not expecting sometimes.
Yeah, there is a question in there that I'm really excited to answer, and then yes, we're gonna dive into our game coming up this weekend because finally we have a game. But
Against Houston again.
I
Again.
Oh my gosh.
I'm almost getting sick of talking about Houston. I don't know about you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
I think LAFC is sick and tired of Houston.
That's how we were
Is the
last year,
league
though.
tired of Houston?
I hope the league is tired of Houston. Let's get rid of Houston.
Does anybody show up to Houston games?
Does Houston have a team?
They have
Ah,
a team.
they
They
have a
have a
team.
team. Yeah.
They own us right now. And apparently LAFC. But in fact, let's just dive right into it. So, yeah, Houston and LAFC played again this past weekend. That's 2 weekends in a row. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what the league does with Houston because last year they did it to us. Remember, we had the Open Cup semi Wednesday, and then we played them again on a Saturday. That
Yeah.
was dumb.
Well, I believe I don't know if it was the one in LA or if it was this one in Houston. One of them was a makeup game.
This weekend, or
This one was
yeah, the
yeah,
one
the
that
one
just
in
passed.
Houston. The one in Houston was the makeup game.
Yeah. Um, that one ended 0-0.
hmm
Didn't the
Correct.
weekend and Houston
No.
won the weekend before?
Yep. 2-0. The week before.
Guys, I mean,
That helped us
Marco
out a ton.
did it? I'm looking for a stats guy here. Did that help us out?
Yeah, like you look at the table, Houston's now seventh at 41, and LAFC is at 48, but they have that game in hand.
That's true. Um, that's all right. But I guess I'm still worried about Houston though. With Houston coming up, Houston having back-to-back games against LAFC. LAFC is a good team,
hmm
are they not? Should
They
be.
are. They are.
They have Giroud, they have they have Bouanga, but the past two games they haven't been able to put in any goals. LAFC. So is that credit to Houston or is that bad for LAFC? Like, are they on a bad streak right now?
Well, you look in this game like who was starting for LAFC. Obviously, no Bawanga wasn't starting. And then you have like a lot of different pieces in that midfield. So I think that was one of Giroud's first starts. You have like a little bit of a different back line for LAFC. So a lot of different pieces that aren't used to playing with each other. A lot of bench guys. So maybe that has to credit there. So, but Houston is a very, very talented team. So kind of surprised that they didn't get a goal at home.
Interesting. I mean, do they really have a strong home presence team to score goals? Anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that one, but so Houston, LA tied. Vancouver, Dallas. That game helped us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a 0-0 draw. What other one did you mention that helped us? Let's see.
Well, really, the one that helped us before that was the St. Louis beating the Galaxy the week before.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that was huge.
That's right. Like the 2-1 on Sunday. That was huge. And I say huge because flipping whatchamacallit, the Galaxy had their whole lineup too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They were going all out in that game on the road in St. Louis.
Yeah, they Paintsill, Marco Royce was in that starting lineup. And all right, I need a comment because of Soccer Dad. I need a comment. Marco Royce wasn't that impressive. I mean, help me out.
Not really, but I think Marco Royce is learning like a lot of people who come from top European leagues to the MLS. They have that first game hype behind them. They're confident. They go in, and all of a sudden they have to start traveling.
Yeah.
And that Alan and I were talking about this offline about what makes MLS one of the most difficult leagues to play in the world, because we see time and time again that big time European players come to MLS and they are great in Europe and they struggle here. And one of the consistent things they talk about is the travel. Because one day you could be playing at, in Salt Lake City, which is decently high up. I think
right.
Are we the highest stadium, or is Crapids a little bit higher?
I think Crapids are a little bit higher,
but not much. It's like almost negligible difference in height, but still, we're pretty high up. And then the next game, you could be going down to sea level within the week.
Yeah,
it takes a toll on your body, and I think that's part of why Zlatan chickened out and ran.
Hey, don't be talking bad about Zlatan in front of me. Come on, I liked him.
He chickened out and he ran. But that's besides the point.
It's still very early in Marco Royce's career for LA. Like, yes, like Christian said, you have that first game burst. Like he had a great first game for LA, but this is his first travel game going to St. Louis. So I think give it a couple games. By give it a couple games, this one on Saturday is going to be a very difficult one for them. El Tráfico.
I don't know. I mean it's gonna be one heck of a game, but I don't know. I have my doubts on old players coming into the league, even Giroud.
For me, I think Royce is gonna have a better MLS career than Giroud, because
that's fair.
Royce is gonna be an actual starter, where Giroud is gonna be off the bench guy. Like, yes, he started in this game against Houston, but how frequent is that gonna be? Not very frequent.
How consistent are they going to have good performances? That's where I'm going to be, because Marco Royce is 35 years old. I mean, how many good games does he have left in him? I think he's just going to be one of those messy presents where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in the presence of greatness. I don't want to hurt him, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I
think El Tráfico ends in a 2-2 draw.
Oh, that was a quick prediction time.
Oh, I was like, any draw, a draw would definitely help us. A draw or a Galaxy win on Saturday in that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. If we're going back to our conversation of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, we need Galaxy to either win the MLS Cup if we can't win it, or we need them to win the West.
Win the West. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another result on Saturday that that didn't really affect us, but kind of was very disappointing was the DC Chicago game for the fact that Benteke scored, Benteke passes Chicho in the Golden Boot race.
Oh, that's a really hot discussion. In fact, let's talk about that. Chicho's MVP chances,
Yeah, obviously
or
the
even Golden Boot chances.
MLS came out yesterday with the MVP rankings. Chicho nowhere to be found in the top 5, which it's the same thing as the power rankings. It's all media based. It's all very hyped.
But
But
at the
yeah,
same time, if you don't play, you can't be ranked.
correct.
If you don't score in like 2 months,
What is it?
you
One goal in the past 2 games, 2 months.
actually I don't even know when Chicho's last goal was. Is that bad of me? That's how long it's been. Now
Um,
we're all gonna be on the computer now looking it up. First one to
okay.
get it. Oh yeah, against Atlanta. We are
Ugh.
over the 2 month mark.
So yeah, it's been about one goal in the past 2 months for Chicho.
That's not good. And on top of that, so all right, hot take. I don't think Chicho is as prolific of a goal scorer as what people think he is in terms of consistent. Because
Mhm.
before the Atlanta game, he had minutes. He was playing games. Last game that he scored before that was Austin when he had a hat trick,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
and before that, maybe he was a little bit more consistent. But right now, we're in a drought. We're 4 goals in how June, July, August. We're going on the fourth month of only 4 goals in 3 months completed.
I guess RSL fans obviously are wanting somebody similar to Cucho when it comes to consistent goal scores because we're seeing how well Cucho has been as of recently.
But I guess maybe we should be looking at how consistent these goal scorers are because I mean, yeah, we have Chicho who is pretty consistent through the season up until May, or up until that Austin game, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that he's played in with 0 goals. 7 out of 8 games he's had
So
0.
I just looked at Ben Teke has had 4 goals in the past 2 months.
So he's
Okay. So it's
I
been
mean,
slow for strikers across the board.
over the summer.
Yeah,
Except for
weird.
Cucho. I mean, if you want to take a quick look at Cucho, but I mean, Cucho has to be pretty consistent if he's being called up to the Colombian national team, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, but he was also kind of like an alternate roster spot because he didn't even show up on the bench on any of their games. He's like another Ojeda when Ojeda used to play for Paraguay,
So not
Which
counting
is
Leagues
so
Cup
weird.
because obviously Leagues Cup doesn't count.
right?
Cucho has 1 goal since the beginning of July.
Okay,
Okay,
same boat.
yeah. So what's going on then in MLS? Alan,
Oh,
what are your thoughts? What's going on
oh,
with
sorry, excuse me. Three goals.
that's
Ah,
still low. That is
Yeah.
right.
still low number. What do you
Um,
think?
I I think transfer window. That thought just literally popped into my head. Maybe I'm going to mull over it a little bit. Transfer window possibly taking players away because with Columbus, for instance, in Cucho's situation, Aiden Morris left. He went to Middlesbrough,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a good attacking piece. Um, then Cucho has he been playing consistent minutes? I'd have to double check. And for RSL, for example, um, I think the team has been in an overall slump since that Austin game. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell me that we had convincing. I don't think they were convincing wins against Atlanta and Houston.
Mhm.
They were just they're pushing through some struggles, but I there's a huge slump, and now we're without Gomez. Now we're introducing three new attacking players plus a defender. Actually, technically 4 attacking players if you want to count Benji.
Yeah.
Um, so I think transfer windows usually throw teams for a loop, and um, and I think now this week is when we're gonna see things start ramping up. Teams starting to get back to their old selves if they are having success before Leagues
Well,
Cup.
yeah, I really
I'm
hope
gonna
because
knock on wood.
yeah, now it's either now or never because you have 7 games left and you have to start ramping up at this point.
Yeah, but I think though we should be taking off the table the MVP talk for Chicho. That's my hot take.
Mm.
I think we should leave Chicho off the MVP talking list.
If he had
Now,
been able to perform consistently at that level through the season, absolutely on the table. But
agreed, agreed.
injuries aside, he fell off.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like I feel like for the MVP talk, you could have a long discussion because it could be, do you base it off of straight goals? Do you trade off of assists? Do you do combine goals and assists? Because if you base it off of goals and assists, right now Lucho Costa, he has that right now in the bag.
that's because he has like 5 million assists.
Yeah. So it's definitely off the table for Chicho, but he needs to have his A game this Saturday.
Also, another hot take. I don't think we should even have an MVP award. I think that's the same thing as oh my gosh. Like no other leagues have an MVP. It's like, oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's exactly like the All-Star game. It's like,
Yeah,
why have an All-Star game?
Mm? I mean, they international tournaments do MVPs.
International tournaments, yes, but not seasons, not leagues.
But to be fair, it is an American thing because it is an American league, and there are some things that I think we need to do our way. And an MVP is kind of a cool thing to do.
It is kind of cool. I mean,
yeah,
sure, but anyways, I'm not gonna put all my eggs in that basket for Chicho. In fact, I'm 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 actually expecting Chicho to come out this weekend and score a goal. I need him to break Sabo's record. Like right now, we've been hanging in that limbo right now of waiting for him to. I mean, how many league games have we had since? So he got 17. So
uh,
oh no, technically he's only played in 2 league games
because of
since
because yeah, that suspension.
because of the suspension. So after the
Yeah,
Portland game, he got suspended, then Leagues Cup, and then
and then injury.
Yeah, I was gonna
injury.
say it's kind of hard to win MVP when you get suspended for language.
Yeah,
Or whatever, because at this point, no one even knows. But apparently, it's worse
Not
than
official.
whatever. It's worse than whatever that other guy called the referee. Um,
Ugh.
Gee whiz, can you believe it?
Might as well just have slapped a cameraman. I do
I
not
get
condone this officially. I'm just letting everybody know.
Ooh.
I do not condone physical altercations of any kind. Keep it clean. Keep it
Yeah,
classy,
yeah.
folks.
exactly. Um, so let's dive into a little bit of the international window part of all this. So we're not going to talk about Argentina because most of you guys don't even watch South American ball or South American qualifiers. So we're going to keep it with the U.S. national
If
team.
you don't, educate yourself.
No,
Because
not.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
mean,
I
whoa,
was like,
whoa, whoa,
shots fired.
I was like, there's good
Enjoy,
soccer. There's good
enjoy
soccer down
good
there as well.
soccer.
I was
And
like, there's
go
good soccer down there as well.
and kudos to Bolivia for being on a 2-game winning
Right,
streak.
right.
That's that I'm not gonna lie, that made my weekend, especially after
Paraguay.
yeah, after Argentina lost. Bolivia beating
That was
Chile
on the penalty.
just made my heart just it made it better.
Mm.
And then Paraguay beating Brazil, that made my heart even feel better.
What
I'm
an
just
So
saying.
exciting time in South America. Marcos does have a good point. If you're not watching the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, you should. There's exciting stuff happening down
yeah, that
there.
I'm
stuff
just
is
saying. If
And
Bolivia and Venezuela both qualify,
oof,
that would be the greatest thing on the
that would
planet.
be very cool.
I mean,
Um,
but it's
and
very
I would
close.
I would dare say another team to keep an eye out. And I tweeted about this, and did I tweet about it or no? I made an Instagram comment about it. Canada's on the up and up, man.
Oh yeah.
Good for
Well,
them.
let's get
Uh,
into it. Let's get into it because
I was like,
oof.
flipping the US lost against Canada. I mean, what does that tell us right now about the team, the federation? Give me your guys' thoughts on that.
it just shows, in my opinion, yet that Canada did a better job at finding a coach because at the time, obviously, US was in the search for a coach, and Jesse Marsh was the better candidate, and he's shown that with Canada at this time.
I also think Canada does have some good developing up and coming talent that they have. Where I think overall it's great for the federation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's going to force the U.S. to get better, which I think, and we'll talk about Pochettino here in just a little bit. It's going to force Mexico to step their game up again because I don't think the Mexican Football Federation saw the U.S. and Canada getting better and competitive, and they got a little bit lazy with their recruiting and development, and they're dealing with the consequences of that now. That being said, they have every ability we know just from Latin American culture in general to have and develop the talent to be super competitive again. I think realistically within the next 100 years, which I know we're going to be dead and gone by that point,
Oh yeah.
but CONCACAF could be as competitive as CONMEBOL.
If I think
within the next 30, 40 years, really.
I mean, that opens up a whole can of worms. Like we could literally go down the path that I thought of in my head immediately was if we have our leagues, our domestic leagues, the same as in other federation leagues.
I was gonna say it all starts with the academies. It all starts with the young kids, how we train them and work their way up.
Yes,
not even just academies though.
I think we really have to allow the conversation of pro rel to exist.
That as well.
I don't think anybody that listens to the show is going to disagree with that.
Right, but that's the thing. If we're looking to be one of the powerhouses, I think eventually we're going to have to pick up that aspect of the game in order to make it more competitive. Making it more competitive means it's going to make it more marketable. Better players are going to want to come.
So, question for you: if we go pro rel and MLS, doing a quick rabbit trail here, we'll come back to our main point. Do you still include Canada with the Canadian Premier League existing? Or do you have Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal go back to Canada into their own league?
So this is my I've never understood why Canadian teams were ever a part of leagues in the United States. I can't say American because we're all American. Um, I've never understood why we add the Canadians.
So you look at every sport in the U.S., they all have Canadian team. That's correct. Yeah,
except for the NFL.
Except for the NFL. Yeah. But I do see that if we do pro rel, we have to draw the line. We have to draw the border, and we have to make sure that they're in their own league and we're in our own league. And that would also, I think, increase the competitiveness of, like, for instance, CONCACAF Champions Cup, because I think having those powerhouses in Canada should, in theory, grow the game within their own league and create competition, so that way other players, other teams can grow. That's my thought.
Yeah, I would like to see that happen eventually. Will it? Probably not, because we're just stuck in this U.S. sports system where we want to include every nation, it seems like.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point MLS wants to talk to Liga MX and say, hey, we want to add some of your guys' teams into the MLS.
How about we do an annual competition where it's just the U.S. teams versus the Mexican teams when we play for this thing called wait.
Sounds like a great idea.
I've been wanting next year Leagues Cup. Let's do half and half Mexico, half US.
As in location,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the fact that Leagues Cup has only been played in the U.S. the past couple of years, give me a break. Come on.
Yeah.
The fact that the U.S. lately has only played their friendlies in the U.S. Come on.
Yeah, can we?
That's about to change.
Yeah, going back to the U.S. Canada friendly real quick. Can we talk about? Obviously, it's being played in Children's Mercy Park Saturday when there's college football happening in the middle of the afternoon. I get that, but only 10,000 people show up there. That's sad. Like, come on, Kansas City, you guys could do better than that.
So, where were the two cities that they played in? They played in obviously Kansas City, and where else?
And Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
So we're talking like the arguments have been made about being soccer capitals of the U.S. between Kansas City, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Columbus. Um, bro, the excuse of college football doesn't fly with me. If you really like your or want to see your team, you'll go. I think that the US is not a marketable team right now. No one wants
So
to go see them.
also that same day on Saturday in Kansas City, the NWSL team Kansas City played. They had almost the same attendance as in the for the US Canada game.
And that was their game against Utah Royals.
Yeah.
And hey, kudos to the Utah Royals for playing a great game against that. Yeah, against former Utah Royals. That was Utah Royals versus Utah Royals.
2.0.
You can't argue against that. Half of Kansas City Royals played in Utah quite recently.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's true.
the exact attendance to that game, 11,500 for the Kansas City Royals game against the Utah Royals, where that's more
Not gonna
than the
lie,
US Canada.
you
But
said
we
Kansas
take
City Royals, and I was like, baseball. What?
But
yeah.
Anyways, what? Sorry.
But you take a look at this current U.S. team. Obviously these past couple of games have still had the Berhalter effect on them. They're picking
yeah.
their favorites rather than the players that would fit best for the team. We were missing key midfield players and like Weston McKinney, obviously Tyler Adams, but in the back line, but he's out with injury. He's kind of turning into a very injury prone player, which is scary
Same
because
same
when
with
he's
Gio.
same with Gio, because both have potential to be world class players, not
Yeah,
just really good players. They have the potential to be world class. And I just saw just very mediocre play building, very mediocre passing, half hearted defending. And the US got caught on its back heels time and time and time again. And this is true for both the Canada game and the New Zealand game. And
mhm,
you could see Christian Pulisic just, he was very, like, it was like he could, with the Pochettino announcement, he could stop playing the facade that he's had on for the pro Berhalter thing because he's had to do it. And he just looked tired and sounded tired about just this mediocre, poor expression
definitely.
of soccer for a team that's currently ranked 16th in the world, which for Americans, like, that sucks. That's 16 in a when the lowest team is ranked 280th. 16th is very good.
Hmm.
But we've talked about this before, where uh, when you're in the top 20 in the world, you're in this weird place where if you're not top 10, then everyone expects, like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you top 10?
Right.
Yeah, for being the golden generation for US soccer, they didn't show it these past two games and having a good set of players with Pulisic, with Balogun, with Aronson, they weren't gelling really well at all. And for me, I was kind of surprised to see Schultz. Like, yeah, he's had in goal. Yeah, he's had a good season so far with Columbus, but like, was that the best option to put in goal? Me personally, I would have rather seen maybe a Turner in goal.
Here's the. I'm gonna go a little bit off of, maybe echo what Nico Cantor said on Golazo. Um, I think we really do need to recognize that we have mediocre players. We don't have great players internationally. He goes on to mention, like, for instance, Pulisic and Musa that play on Milan. This isn't the greatest Milan team that's ever existed either.
Mm-mm.
We can't. I mean, before, playing for Milan was like, you are one of the best in the world. Like, everyone was in awe of you. Now playing for Milan is just like, Milan is a great team. It's a good team, but they're not one of the greatest clubs in the world right now. And so to have one American play, start pretty consistently, and the other one just ride the bench the whole time, it's not saying much. Plus, you have in fact, if I'm not mistaken, a good majority of the starting lineup play in Europe, but they don't play on stellar teams either. They're not they're not starters on a Manchester City or Manchester United. They're going to Champions League, going far in the Champions League. They're not creating a huge difference on their team. Like, if you take them out, pluck them out of the team, they're easily replaceable. So I think if I'm in the words of Nico Cantor, I think we don't need to, like, lower our expectations of how we should be competing, but we should definitely have a reality check of what kind of players we have on this team. And to finish off my little rant, the the players right now have the worst mindset that I have seen in a long time. You can be an underdog, but you can't have crap mentality.
No, absolutely. I think the U.S. right now has kind of got the same issue as a country. This will make sense in a moment. The same issues as Croatia,
Okay.
because think about it. Na Name a Croatian soccer player.
Modric.
Modric. Name another one.
Pjanic.
But it took a second, right?
Yes.
You think about it, how Modric is the stellar star player. We have that in Pulisic. I think my only disagreement with you is that I think Pulisic is world class, but I agree with Moonsight just kind of being meh. A lot of the other players being meh.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pulisic has, when he's trusted and put in a system that works, excels well at Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund, now AC Milan. He does play well. He does play world class level. A lot of the other players, though.
Like I know I'm gonna get flack for what I just said because before, like 10 years ago, we're like, we need players in Europe. We need
And we
them to
do.
be.
We still do.
We still do, but the 10 years ago it was
Oh yeah,
we
it was
don't we don't have we don't have a
2014 with Kyle Beckerman in that World Cup. We had Wondolowski, we had Beckerman, we had Donovan, all these MLS players that were able to get out of group stage. But then you have this last World Cup where you have a bunch of international guys and they just struggle against other international players. It's like, what gives?
yeah. So
Um,
I
but
mean
I
I'm gonna get flack for criticizing, but it's just like I know I expect more and more and more. I want to grow. I'm not gonna stay stagnant.
for sure, for sure. That's why, just like everybody else, I'm really hoping with Pochettino, he just gives that different mindset to that this is the real deal. If you guys want to be elite, then we need to act like it.
So Alan, you talk a lot about how you enjoy. Obviously, we have a pro-Argentine bias in our family, but you really enjoy seeing Argentine coaches coach anywhere, really.
Right.
What are your expectations out of Mauricio Pochettino now that Bocho's in charge?
So here's a funny part. I was talking with a Venezuelan friend of mine, um, and among the Hispanics, who obviously we know Argentine coaches are I I think I can say it without bias. Argentine coaches are some of the best in the world. If you look at CONMEBOL, I think if not all the federations, majority of the federations have Argentine coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Pochettino, I think, might be one of the worst of the Argentine bunch, to be honest. He's one that hasn't won a lot. He competes, but hasn't won a lot. And so, um, going to your question, what do I expect? What do I expect from Pochi? Um, I expect discipline. I expect a winning mentality because I think that's what he brought to Southampton, what he brought to Tottenham, what he brought to PSG. I think he expects he has high expectations for his players. Now, with with the mediocre players that we have, going off of what I just said, with the mediocre players that we have, um, I think it's going to be a rough go at the beginning. He's going to definitely try some players out. I think he's going to be calling new players up, to be honest, because there's some of these older players that aren't cutting it. For me,
Agreed.
this is for me my opinion, hot take. McKinney needs to change his attitude, or he's not going to get called up. I think he has too much of an ego that it's going to bump up against Pochettino. He's not going to like it.
I can
I don't
see
know.
that.
So
I mean,
that's what I expect.
we were talking during the New Zealand game. We were like, "What is this lineup? Like that lineup from the interim coach? Not a fan. Not a fan of that lineup. It really, to me, it spoke to not how unseriously at least the training staff was taking that game.
Yeah.
And there was no way Pochettino would have fielded that team with
Yeah,
what's available. Even with
like
what they called the camp, there's no way he would have fielded that team.
yeah, very very confused on that back line. Having Fossey and even Pulisic not even starting, I was like, yes, I understand you just played a friendly a few days ago, but like this is New Zealand. Like let's take this more serious to get these guys ready. But yeah, I'm hoping for a change of mentality
Uh, and
throughout this
and
whole.
I think speaking to that mentality that you were just mentioning, Marcos, and the fact that you just like you just said, Pulisic didn't start against New Zealand.
Hmm.
That's a mentality thing for me. Because you see the South American qualifiers, you see that those players play back to back games and they are fighting for qualification spots. Whereas this is a friendly,
Yeah,
bro. You're should be a little bit more relaxing, but play.
yeah. Like for those World Cup qualifiers, they have to go to Bolivia where the altitude's ridiculously high.
Oh,
And here,
don't get me into that because that was a whole conversation with my Venezuelan friend.
well,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
well then they go here to Kansas City to Cincinnati, where it's just yeah, they could be
But
consistent lineups.
I think at the same time, a lot of Americans undervalue, and including the players, undervalue friendlies. Friendlies still affect their FIFA rankings. They still affect how the world sees them. If the rest of the world's seeing the United States lose to Canada, tie New Zealand, and they come to this next, you know, and then let's say, hypothetically, they go to Europe to play out, I don't know, Liechtenstein in a
Right.
friendly
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
over in Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein's going to go and go, okay, we've got this. San Marino's like, come on, let's go. Let's do this.
Well,
Right?
and funny you
Shout
should
out to
say
San
that.
Marino.
Yeah, San Marino. Woo, woo.
That was big.
Um,
That was big.
but going off of the FIFA rankings subject that you just mentioned, France lost to Italy on Friday.
Hmm.
That's going to affect them, and I think that Spain jumps France in the rankings.
Oh yeah, Spain should be
Agreed.
number two. Spain should be number two.
Yeah, so um, that was a really long talk, guys. Good job. Flip. I honestly didn't think it was going to go that long. Um, let's talk about stuff that we feel a little bit more passionate about. Actually, we feel passionate about a lot of things. Um, let's get into this RSL game.
Yeah.
Um,
First things first.
what?
One question.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
one question.
Let's not get into this RSL game. Let's get into this question because
Um, so one person asked, most underrated player currently not by stats but by praise, fans, conversation.
I'm assuming RSL player.
Yes, yes.
Ooh.
We'll interpret as our RSL player. Most underrated player currently not by stats but by praise, fans, and conversation. So they got to be a good player.
But somebody that doesn't have the highest or greatest of stats this season. Um,
Hmm.
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Who wants to go first? I think I have mine in my head.
Underrated, underrated.
But I mean, underrated doesn't have to mean like
Mhm.
diamond in the rough, like he like all of a sudden
I've
came
got
out of nowhere.
two.
Okay, let's hear it, Christian.
So for me, Bodie Hidalgo
Okay,
and Nelson Palacio.
underrated for sure.
Mhm.
But you might get the praise part. I don't know. I don't know. People have been kind of like meh. So I don't know.
I think, you know, Bodie has again, he's proven his worth over and over and over again. Definitely, unfortunately, still not quite starter level. He's going to learn a lot behind Javane Brown, but he has been clutch many times this season, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And honestly, same thing with Nelson Palacio. He's starting to break out a bit, and he does need to do it more consistently. But besides that, I think he's pretty underrated.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm gonna go with two as well. I'm gonna go with Matt Crooks because yes, he doesn't have the greatest of stats, but he is able to be that instrument in the middle of the field and help with those assists to to help them out a lot. And second one, like, yes, he has decent stats, but I'm going to have to go with Katranis.
Okay. That's good. That's good. All right, so I'm going to have to go with Eric Holt. Just kidding.
Like, has he played this season?
Negatory.
Just kidding. Good guy. I'm not going to speak bad.
Good beard.
But
It was his birthday a few days ago, actually.
Oh, it was.
Happy
True.
belated birthday.
I'm having a hard time with the underrated part because there's a lot of RSL players that have been super high up there for us. Like one that I can think of that obviously by praise fans and conversation, but not by stats is definitely our two defensive midfielders. I mean Ojeda and Anelli. But again, they're not underrated. I don't think at this point. So
no.
The underrated part is hard for me. If I were to go like historically RSL, I would definitely go with like Will Johnson.
Oh, like overall all time for me, I'd go
time?
Andy Williams.
Oh, I mean,
you're gonna say Grabavoy again, aren't you?
Absolutely. Come on.
Oh,
please comment if you're a Ned Grabavoy fan like me, because he was so good.
Yeah, and he was super underrated.
If Kyle Beckerman were on this episode with us tonight, he would agree.
I mean, he might agree with Will Johnson too.
I mean, Will Johnson was fantastic, but I mean, actually, ironically, both of them also played really well for the Portland Timbers after RSL. Anyway,
that was sad.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. I know we have so many other Instagram questions. I wish we could get to all of them. But thank you. Who sent that in?
That was from Ihlerd. IHLERD.
Yeah, I was gonna let you say that one. I wasn't gonna say it. But thank you so much for that question. That's an interesting conversation to have. So let's dig into this Houston game because this one is one, we're all glad that RSL is back.
We are finally back
because it's been way too long between Leagues Cup and all this stuff. We've already complained enough, but we're gonna have consistent games. We missed you. Let's get into this. So let's how do we want to start this? We already talked a little bit about Houston.
Yeah. So going into this one, we know because it got announced last week that Gavin Beavers is going to be the keeper for the rest of the season. So we know that one. But going into this one, we don't know the status of Vera because Vera did sit out last game. Obviously, Quinton getting that goal, first one with RSL. So if that was fantastic by Quinton. But if Vera is not able to go in this one, do you still go with the same thing? Do you go with a Glad Quinton? Because you saw how well they paired together in the last match.
I mean, last match was against New England, and we played against older forwards. So I don't know. I have an issue with that. So one, I'm hoping that we play with someone else. Like for instance, I got an idea. What happens if we already threw this out, but maybe we can play with Javian as a center back if we're desperate. I mean, tactically, I think it would make sense to have Javian because of speed. If you put in Quinton, I fear that Aliu, I feel that Ponce, Kualizak, they're just gonna be attacking nonstop. And if we're gonna have our wings flying forward like we always do, and especially now that we have Javian that's like on it, and Katranis is always running his side, I have a feeling we're gonna get caught. I have a feeling they're gonna counter.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, reality, it's either going to be Quentin or Vera's coming back. That's the reality.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I do think if I'm not mistaken, Escobar, Franco Escobar for Houston, their left back, is suspended for this game. Yellow card
That is
accumulation.
confirmed. Yep, that is confirmed.
That is huge. Because I don't.
He's the only one that's out, correct?
No. Oh no. You want to hear this injury suspension list from
Oh, is
Do
there
it, do
there's
there's
it.
more?
four. There's four
Okay.
players. We have Franco Escobar, Gabriel Segal, Lawrence
Mhm.
Anali, but the big one for me, Nelson Quinones is out until late September.
How long has he been out? Did it say when his injury was?
Let's
As I
see.
smacked my mic, I got really excited there.
Since February 22nd.
Oh, so he's been out for a minute.
He's been out for a minute, but I still think he's an important player for them to miss.
Do you know who might be coming back?
Chicho?
For Houston. um Carrasquilla.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that scares me.
That part's scary because he came in last game as a substitute, which means that he's healthy enough to play and he's probably going to start. If I guess if Ben Olsen thinks that it's better for Carrasquilla to start over Kowalczyk. Yeah, I struggle with Eastern European names. Sorry. I know. There's other podcasts that struggle with Hispanic names. I'm an Eastern European name struggler. Um, so here's the thing though. Everyone else stays the same,
Hmm.
and it's a struggle for us. Like Houston is our kryptonite.
I think it's honestly that midfield that worries me the most for Houston with Ache, Arthur, Bassi. Like those three right there are very worrisome. So if we can break those three down, then I think we might have a chance. But yeah, it's
But
that
we do have a chance though. They haven't played against us with Concalves and Lachlan Brook, which honestly
as well as
would be a
Dominic. Yeah.
difference.
And Dominic. So Dominic.
Dominic, isn't he out on international or is
No,
he gonna be
no,
No,
back for
he's back today.
Oh,
well, Thursday.
I
welcome
thought it was.
back. Yay.
So Dominic will be back. The team flies out Friday. So um, Dominic will be flying with the team. Starting, probably not, because obviously he did start for the Polish U21 team.
But you never know because I mean, players at a high level, I feel like they perform better back to back games, especially when they haven't been playing like super consistent minutes. I mean, he hasn't played many minutes since beginning of August when he was sold. We all saw his last Champions League qualifying game, and then he had like a 2 week break where he couldn't play because of work visa. So I wouldn't count it out, to be honest. I would leave it as a possibility to have Dominic playing on that right wing.
Yeah, I would like to see Lachlan start in that right side, Diogo in the middle in that 10, Luna, and then obviously Chicho up top for that attack.
I think, and I know Marcos and I have talked about how we want to see how Diogo and Chicho link up.
Mm-hmm.
This would
Yeah.
be a great game to do it because of the high pressure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how
Exactly.
well they perform in their relationship under this high pressure situation rather than something easy.
Yeah. And a win is necessary. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, we're equal on the games played, but how many? We're 6 points ahead of them.
Well,
Okay.
with Seattle getting a win over the weekend and then Colorado right behind us, this is kind of a must win because they're creeping right behind us, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to get that home field advantage.
Maybe it's not a must win, but it's a must points.
Yeah,
We need
I
points.
A must points is good. A must
exactly,
points and Colorado needs to lose.
exactly. Because obviously a draw on the road, especially in Houston, is something that always feels like a win.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Colorado to lose either. I want them to tie.
Wait, who are they playing?
Portland.
Portland.
Ooh, yeah,
And
they need to
Portland,
tie
yeah,
that
yeah,
game.
Portland
They
is
need to
at
tie
40
that
points.
game.
Like
So
this is dirty.
we have two games this weekend in the El Trafico and the Colorado game where we need a draw.
Oh, buddy.
Does Vancouver play this weekend? Oh yeah, they're playing against San Jose. That's another one. We need
San Jose needs to win that one.
yeah.
San Jose, you're riding on a wave, y'all. Just win.
Oh man.
Please.
Oh man.
Like if you I mean let's review the table real quick for RSL because this is really intense. And if you've looked at it, great. If you haven't, here it is. So the Galaxy are almost running away with it with 52 points. With a game in no, they we have a game in hand. Ooh, sorry, game in hand.
We have game in hand, yes.
Yeah. LAFC is 4 points behind them with 48. We're
Uh-huh.
at 47. Rapids at 44, Sounders at 43, Whitecaps at 42, Dynamo at 41, Timbers at 40. Guys, that is so between second and eighth, there are 8 points right there.
That is so tight.
That's the
I mean,
wild west.
seriously, because between second and eighth in the East, that's 18-point difference. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Let's just say this. The West is more like the Premier League. The East is more like Ligue 1.
like seriously. Unfortunately, I don't think we have anyone from the East Coast listening to us. But
well, just shows how much more talent is always in the Western Conference. Better attacking players, better overall.
Yeah,
you would hope, or we all just collectively suck.
I would hope that we're pretty even out here, and I think it's due to the mentality out here of we can be one of the best or we can compete with anyone. I mean, heck, San Jose beat us 2 games ago. I mean, anyone can be anyone in this league at this point. But this is a must points game, and it's also we need they're must draws for everyone else because if we can't get 3 points, we need everyone else not to get 3 points, and that means everyone. Because if someone gets 3 points in there, there are people jumping. Yeah, their positions being hopped, and that's it's gonna get more intense. Basically, fasten your seatbelts, everyone. This is gonna get pretty intense. With that, I want to go real quick into we've already talked about our lineup. We've already talked about their lineup. We don't know who the referee is. Thank heavens, because if I knew who the referee was, I might have an opinion. But fine, let's do it. Let's do a prediction time.
Let's do it.
Okay. Marcos, I'll let you do this one. I know you've been thinking about it all day.
Thank you. Yeah, Houston's always had our number for several competitions now, but I'm feeling optimistic that we're gonna get a point on the road. So give me a 1-1 draw, and on top of that, Chicho finally breaks the record on Saturday too.
Excellent, great news.
I'm gonna go optimistic.
That's not like you.
I'm feeling it. I say 2-1 RSL win after dropping an early goal.
Okay, you're gonna drop and then make us win. Okay, sounds good.
With a Chicho goal in there.
Have to. All right, I'm going to. I'll go on the positive side because I feel it. There's some kind of feeling in there, and I think we have to. We have to believe in this team at some point. So I'm going to go with just the 1-0 win, which is uncharacteristic of us because it's either big win or really weird loss.
Yeah,
but 1-0, and it's going to be. I'll go with a Chicho goal as well. Let's go, Chicho.
I was like, we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it 2 months. It has to happen.
Seriously, I've been waiting on it, and Marcos knows exactly what I'm waiting for too. I have it ready. Shoot, this is I'm excited that we're finally playing again. So let's last final thoughts. Since Marcos, you did first prediction time. Christian, give us final soccer thoughts.
It was a growing international time. I think all of our teams are learning to iron kings out, and now is the best time to do so. And as my final thought, I want to give a shout out to the U.S. women's U20 team for beating Mexico in the round of 16 tonight, 3-2, which does include an Ali Sentinor goal.
Excellent.
That was a rocket of a goal by her.
Yeah, so there's soccer on Saturday from RSL, and then we have a United States U20 quarterfinal on Sunday at 5 p.m.
Excellent.
Nice. Everybody just buckle up. 7 games. This is going to be a tough battle against Houston, but I know that we will be prepared to take advantage of this one.
Excellent. Guys, I have U9 soccer on Saturday, and that's my thought of as we're leaving everyone. This is gonna be a really good game because it's apparently against a really good club. Just
You
I,
gotta send us pics and vids because I'll be in Disneyland.
you're leaving again.
I'm leaving again. Don't worry, I'll be back on Sunday. It's a
That's
quick
fine.
trip with friends. So,
That's awesome.
and y'all know. Oh, question for the fans.
Oh,
Ooh.
If you can get this in tomorrow, tweet at me at Christian A. Craig on Twitter. Should I take my gold RSL jersey or my white RSL jersey with me to California to wear on Saturday?
Por qué los dos?
Porque no los dos. It's true. Well,
Pick one.
Sounds good.
Let Christian know, everybody. But
All
everybody,
right.
if you guys are not already following us, head over to Instagram, head over to Twitter, follow us at the RSL Bros. Listen to us wherever you catch your podcast on Spotify or Apple, and make sure you watch the RSL game Saturday, 6:30.
Do it. Be there or be square. Dance. Square dance.
Catch you guys next time.
Catch you.